I don't want to plagiarize Martin Luther King Jr., but I need to tell you that I have a dream today. And my dream is that from the ashes of the coronavirus pandemic, a renewed church will be born. A church that is centered on Jesus, centered on the Eucharist, and a church that has a synod process as its main character. Yes, I have this dream, that we will be a united church, an active participant church, a church focused on the gospel, the teaching, and the presence of Jesus. What is your dream today? Do you have a dream for the church today? Do you have a dream for the church of the future? Yes, I have a dream that the priests, deacons, religious, seminarians, and all the faithful of the Diocese of Fall River will join me and allow the Holy Spirit to guide this new era that I dream of for our church and for our diocese. But it's not going to happen if we all just sit back and wait for the Holy Spirit to do His work. The Holy Spirit continues to working, but He works through us and with us. That's how the actions of the Holy Spirit take place in our church and in our lives. We heard today that the disciples were gathered together in Jerusalem, and the Holy Spirit came as of tongues of fire, which parted and came to rest on each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in different tongues. But not only they spoke in different tongues and proclaimed the gospel, they actually went out to meet each other, to encounter people, to preach the gospel, to convert people, to bring the message that Christ had entrusted to them. We see in the readings today the transformative power of the Holy Spirit working in the lives of the disciples and the church and the whole world. Like fire, His coming, the coming of the Holy Spirit changes things. It changed the lives of the apostles and disciples. It changed the world. So, my dear friends, in this critical moment in the life of the church and our world, what change are we hoping the Holy Spirit to make? Are we willing to be signs to the world of the transformative power of the Holy Spirit? Are we willing to allow the Holy Spirit to come and make changes into our lives? Because we all say we hope the world to change, but how about us? And the world is not going to change unless each of us does his and her part and changes ourselves. What changes are we willing to make? How can we help change the world and change our society and our church? We have heard in the second reading today St. Paul telling us that the Holy Spirit comes with his gifts and his charisma and gives to each person, and each one receives a different gift and a different charisma. And we all are invited, called, urged to make those gifts and those charismas for the good of the church, for the work of the church. When they received the Holy Spirit, the disciples did not keep it for themselves. On the contrary, they had so much love for the church and for God and for the people that they wanted to go and proclaim the gospel and share their faith and even die for it. What are the gifts, the talents that we are willing to share with our parish community? And how do I share the gift of my faith to help others in their own faith journey? The disciples were going away from Jerusalem. We heard in that beautiful description of St. Luke of the road to Emmaus. They were going away from Jerusalem sad, disappointed, uncertain, disillusioned, not knowing what the future was going to be like. But then they encountered Jesus on that journey, and everything changed. When we encounter Jesus like they did, when we open our hearts to listen to Jesus like they did, we experience a deeper conversion just as they did. Jesus himself drew near and walked with them, but notice that their eyes were closed and prevented from recognizing who Jesus was. Jesus walks with us in our journey of life in so many ways and forms, especially during difficult times of our lives. But sometimes the concerns of this life and of this world prevent us from recognizing him. What is it that prevents us from seeing Jesus, from recognizing him journeying together with us and walking with us? The disciples prayed even before they had fully recognized that was Jesus. They prayed this beautiful and simple prayer: stay with us. Wow, what a beautiful simple prayer that we can all say every day. Stay with us. Stay with me, Jesus. Stay with me in this time of my life, in this difficult moment, in this joyful moment, in this suffering time. Stay with us, stay with me. And I think we need to pray now during this period of the Synod in our church: Lord, stay with us. These are difficult times. We can all simply pray this prayer every moment of our lives. When we get up in the morning, when we go to bed at night, when we are driving, walking, cooking, cleaning, working, doing anything, just turn to Jesus. Lord, stay with us, stay with me. The spirit of this synod that we open, as I said today, is a challenging for all of us to walk with each other and to walk with Jesus and to recognize that he is walking with us. And as he stayed with the disciples, he took bread, he said the blessing, he broke the bread and gave it to them. With that, their eyes were opened and they recognized him. Remember how they were prevented before from recognizing him. Now their eyes were opened, and they recognized him in the breaking of the bread. We do that action every day here on the altar, every Sunday, as we celebrate the Eucharist, as we break the bread. Do we recognize Jesus' presence in the Eucharist, in the breaking of the bread? There are so many people who call themselves Catholics, and yet they don't recognize or believe in the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. Now, I suspect that if they don't recognize and believe in the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, they probably don't do in their own lives as well. So we need, my brothers and sisters, to pray for that stronger faith in the presence of Jesus, not only in the Eucharist, but his presence in the brokenness of our brothers and sisters, those who are suffering. After encountering Jesus on that road to Emmaus, after walking with him and listening to him, the disciples asked a very, very important question. Were not our hearts burning within us while he spoke with us on the way and opened the scriptures to us? Were not our hearts burning within us as they heard Jesus' voice, and as Jesus spoke and explained the scriptures to them, their hearts were burning within them? I love that image of the burning heart, because our hearts need to be set on fire again. If there is a time where our hearts need to be set on fire again, this is it. The post-pandemic time where we dream of the church born from the ashes of the pandemic, renew the church centered on Jesus and in the Eucharist. We need to set our hearts on fire again, so that we can set the fire in the hearts of our brothers and sisters. Because Jesus still walks with us, he still speaks to us in many different ways. We need to allow his words to stir our hearts and set them on fire. How does my heart react and respond when Jesus speaks with me in the scriptures, in the events of our lives, in people we encounter, in the Eucharist? How does my heart respond and react to that? And when the disciples recognized Jesus, encountered him, and shared the bread, they returned to Jerusalem and recounted what had taken place on the way and how they had come to know him in the breaking of the bread. Notice that after their encounter with Jesus, the disciples changed the direction. They were going to Emmaus, now they return to Jerusalem. They turn back to Jerusalem to announce all they had seen and heard from that encounter with Jesus. And their experience of encountering the risen Lord, they had to make a decision to continue on their original journey or to return to the church. to the community. And as they did, they found the disciples gathered together in Jerusalem, and who announced to them also, we have seen the Lord. And they recounted to them what they had experienced. Is that re-encountering, coming back to the church. What a perfect image for this pandemic time and for this synod time. Return to the church and to the Lord. As we embrace and launch the synod process here in our diocese, as it is launched in every parish and diocese in the whole world, what a great opportunity for us to reset our hearts on fire, to rekindle the working of the Holy Spirit in our lives, in our parishes, in our church, to invite our brothers and sisters to come back to the church and to the Lord, and to reconnect and re-strengthen our parish communities. I can't wait for what I envision, for this dream of mine to become a reality here in the Diocese of Fall River. But remember, it can only happen if all of us embrace it with enthusiasm, with joy, with faith, with the heart burning within us, knowing that with the power of the Holy Spirit and the presence of Jesus, we can make a difference, and we can renew our church and our parishes. That's what we are hoping for, and we are embracing this, beginning this new journey together, guided by the Holy Spirit. I'm grateful to so many people who have already embraced their mission. Our revitalization committee of the diocese, who is spearheading and organizing the whole process for the synod in each parish. I think we need to know a little more what the synod means, right? I know many people, when you say a synod, what is a synod, right? The church gathers together bishops and the Pope in Rome every 2 or 3 years for a synod on a specific topic. This one is a little different because it's involving every Catholic in the whole world. It's involving every parish, every diocese. We are in this together. We are journeying together. We are revitalizing the church together. Is that the idea that the church is not just the Pope, the bishops, the clergy. We are all the church, and we are responsible for this renewal of the church. I know many of our parishioners have been asked to be ambassadors to this process of the synod. I would like just to take a moment to ask here, is anyone here today who have been asked to be an ambassador for this synod process? If you are, please raise hand. How many we have here? We have a few people here. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being here. And I know there are many others who are not able to be here today, who will be working with us. May God bless each one of you. May He bless our diocese. May the Holy Spirit be with us, guiding us, resetting our hearts on fire, rekindle our faith, and renewing our church. God bless all of you. Let us now profess our faith. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one